Welcome to the Anfield Review Podcast. I'm Owen James. This is your Liverpool News Update. Guys, we're going to talk Harvey Elliott. We're going to talk Tyler Morton, a little bit of what he had to say and how that could be comments reflecting back a little bit on Slot and the whole Harvey Elliott situation. We're also going to talk a little bit about Cody Gakpo as well, with further stories this morning coming out of Germany as regards Cody Gakpo's future. Time of recording, guys, unfortunately, Manchester United have won against Spurs. Spurs pretty much just giving up on that one. To put this game against Manchester City on Sunday has really been a must-win game for the Reds, so we don't fall further behind in the chase for that Champions League place. Right, look, let's talk a little bit of Harvey Elliott. Look, Harvey is still a Liverpool player, despite what Arne Slot may tell you in press conferences, despite, what he says in, if you want to, when he's asked about him, the comment that always comes back about Harvey is, he's an Aston Villa player. Ask Unai Emery. He's not an Aston Villa player, Arne. Get your head out your ass, man. He's a Liverpool player. He is still owned by Liverpool. His registration is still held by this club. I just find that comment ridiculous from Slot. I really do. And I think it's just a part of the whole situation around Slot's very, very poor man management. I mean, one thing that annoys me really massively about Slot is if you contrast him with Klopp and the way that Klopp would look after the players, the way that Klopp encouraged the players. His man management skills were fantastic, legendary in fact. And you contrast that with Arne Slot, who has his favourites. And if you're not one of his favourites, well, you might as well not even bother turning up realistically, because that's how it seems with this situation. And Harvey, to me, has certainly been frozen out by Arne Slot. And I think, even an attempt to maybe recall him in January. I know there was no recall clause, but I'm sure, that a loan cancellation or something could have been done around that. But I don't think Slot wanted Elliott back. He's quite clearly taken against Elliott for whatever reason. The situation has been further complicated today by Unai Emery calling on Liverpool to cancel the obligation to buy clause so that Villa can play him more. Now, Elliott is fast approaching that 10-game marker where if he plays 10 games or more, Villa will have to buy him for £35 million. As Unai Emery has made clear on a number of occasions, Liverpool don't, to Liverpool, that Villa do not want to buy him. That's not part of their plan. So which puts him in a situation where he could play a couple more games and then that'll be it. He'll be stuck in limbo for the rest of the season. This is what Unai Emery has said. Harvey Elliott can help us, but it's not only on my side. The other side is Liverpool. Now it's a sport decision and a business decision. I told him it will be fair for him for Liverpool to take off his mandatory clause. Liverpool have the key. Interesting. So Villa in effect are calling on Liverpool to take off that clause and allow them to play Harvey Elliott, to use Harvey Elliott in their remaining games. Now, look, I can see both sides of this. You'd say, well, why would Liverpool help Villa? Why would we, take this clause away and take away the possibility we get £35 million for a player who Arne Slot quite clearly doesn't want at the club? He doesn't seem to want any young English players at the club, so it seems. But then there's the other side of this, where if we take the clause off and Harvey Elliott plays for Villa and plays well in the remaining games, and then returns to Liverpool, he has match sharpness, he has played well, he's raised his status, he's raised the type of player he is, that then if it is genuinely Liverpool don't want him in the summer, which I think it is, he will then be sold. Now, as it stands at the moment, if he plays 2 more games and he gets to 9 games, he ain't going to play again for Villa this season. So he's going to basically rot in their reserves, rot on the training ground, and not play competitive football. He'll then return to Liverpool in the summer, and his value will be massively depreciated. The chances of getting £35 million for him this coming summer will be somewhere between slim and non-existent. So for me, Liverpool should, I think, take the clause off, allow Villa to use him. It could be a situation where actually, Harvey actually helps us out. Villa play a team that Liverpool need Villa to get a result against, and he scores goals or he creates chances and he helps Villa to win that game. It could actually help us out in the long run. Yes, he won't be used against Liverpool because, as we know, you can't use a player that you are loaning from another team against the team he is loaned from. To me, it is Liverpool being very, very short-sighted on this one. At the end of the day, like I said, if he doesn't play again this season, then we have a player coming back to us who is A, not fit, match fit, B, he's not been in the shop window to raise his value, and C, probably will have a bit of a downer on the club and a bit of a downer on the whole situation with how he's been treated. I mean, personally speaking, I think the way that he's been treated by Arne Slot and Richard Hughes is absolutely fucking disgusting. It is absolutely disgraceful. And it just, like I said, shows the poor man management skills of Arne Slot. But, this is not something new. You heard around the time that Tyler Morton left the club, that the whole situation there where Tyler came out and basically said, that he was frustrated, you can't. He doesn't see. He felt at that point the manager didn't trust him, the manager didn't like him, and the manager didn't want him at the club. And it's sad that these young English talents are coming through. And Tyler Morton has proved, at Lyon, what a top player he is. And I think Tyler Morton could have played a part for Liverpool this season. I genuinely do. With the fact that we've had some pretty shocking results. But again, perhaps if Tyler Morton was Dutch, maybe he'd have got a bit of more game time. I don't know. You never know. You never know. Who knows? But certainly seems to me that Harvey Elliott, the whole situation is really, really difficult for both Harvey and for both clubs, I think. And I think Liverpool should show some common sense here, cancel that mandatory purchase agreement and allow him to play. And I think, again, like I said to you, it does have a positive benefit for Liverpool. Those of you who are saying, well, why would we do that? Why would we help out a club and not get any benefit from it? Well, we are getting a benefit from it. A, he could hurt our rivals. And B, if he plays well, if he looks like a good footballer, then if we are going to sell him in the summer, he's going to come back to us and clubs will want to buy him. If he doesn't play and he doesn't play again, then it ain't going to raise his value. It's basic common sense. And I think there's a complete lack of common sense when it comes to the whole Harvey Elliott situation with Liverpool and Aston Villa. Right, let's move on a little bit. There is also, at the moment, big stories coming out of Germany at the moment that Cody Gakpo is the top target for Bayern Munich this summer. Cody Gakpo, obviously, Cody has had Cody had a good season last season. Let's get this clear. Yeah, he did. And I think, and I've said this all along, I think that was down to the fact that he obviously had Luis Diaz behind him, pushing him, and when you've got two players contesting for one spot, you get a raise in level, because if you want to keep the shirt, if you want to play regularly week in, week out, you've got to prove that you are the best person for that shirt, and I think that's what we saw from Cody last season. We haven't seen that same standard from Cody this season by any stretch of the imagination. Cody has not produced anywhere near the form or the output that he produced last season. At times he's looked off the pace. At times he's been called a one-trick pony, and I think to some degree it's true. I think most defenders have figured Cody Gakpo out. If you show him outside, he's going to struggle. He always wants to cut in. He always wants to shoot on his right foot, and there is that downside. And Cody has been pretty poor. But he seems to always get in the team for whatever reason. I think Arne Slot obviously likes the player. It's even heard the joke that some people have called him that Cody Gakpo is Arne's illegitimate son. I don't know if that's true, but of course it isn't true. It's just a joke that's gone round. I think Slot won't allow him to be sold, because Slot quite clearly loves Cody Gakpo. And has even called out the negativity towards Cody. But look, nothing Cody's done this season to me proves that he's worthy of a place in the team. Mo Salah, hasn't performed at his best this season and has had far more pelters than Cody's gone. And Cody has arguably been a far sight worse than Mo Salah this season. Cody this season has produced 7 goals this season in all competitions, 29 games in Champions League and in Premier League. Obviously still not the same output, and like I said, I think he has been really poor. Now Bayern Munich allegedly are interested in purchasing him for 70 million plus in the summer. I personally would think this is a deal Liverpool should look at. I think that money could be reinvested in a winger or two wingers that could come in and make a real difference, a real proper outside wingers. And look, if Slot is here next season, which I highly doubt he will be, they want to play. He wants to play with wingers, real wingers. We haven't got real wingers at the club. Rio Ngamoa is the one winger, and Slot doesn't appear to trust him. So, look, for whatever reason, I think this is a deal Liverpool should certainly be looking at, and I certainly would look at selling Cody Gakpo in the summer. I don't think he's done anything this season to earn himself a continuation as a starter at Liverpool Football Club going forward. Liverpool going to tomorrow's game, obviously. It is an absolute must-win now. It is an absolute must-win for the club. Looking at how the league table stands at this point in time, obviously with all the games still to come at time of recording, Manchester United obviously have beaten Tottenham 2-0. Liverpool are 5 points now behind them. Yes, they played a game more, but a defeat tomorrow and stay 5 points, it certainly makes it much harder to catch that fourth place. Yes, England may end up with 5 Champions League places, but it's not yet confirmed that is the case. Chelsea today, obviously they play Chelsea have got Wolves today, which is obviously, I think, is pretty much going to be a win for them as well. So they're going to go 4 points clear of Liverpool today, I would estimate. So look, it's an absolute must-win game tomorrow, and I think a failure to win tomorrow against Manchester City, and then the questions will start again. Yes, we've had 2 very convincing performances against Carrier-Bag and against Newcastle United, but look, the questions will start again if Liverpool fail to beat Manchester City on Sunday. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. Thank you for watching the Anfield Review. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.